All right, man, we're here at PAC Springs, and they have been helping us for the last 3 years, and they make a great product. And they make products for, springs for shocks, but they also make valve springs and that go in engines. So they're a pretty cool company. They make some great products. And we were talking about setup, and a lot of guys will just run a spring on their shock, put it on their car, and then they don't touch it for the rest of the season. And that is so far from what you need to be doing. So let's talk about springs and the different spring changes that we make when we're at the track.
Yeah, I got to start working with the guys at PAC about 4 or 5 years ago when they were introducing their product as a coil spring now for shocks into the market. They got very big, started with in the pro stock drag market. Everybody from NASCAR to NHRA, they've been using their valve springs for years because they're the best on the market. So they took that technology and they've incorporated it into the coil spring market. And we make changes constantly on the car. It's just not shocks. It's springs are a key part to it. And to every good shock you have, a good quality spring is equally as important. So we choose PAC Springs, and they've supported us through everything we do with Ken, and I use it on a lot of my other clients' cars as well, just to get the best performance out of the whole suspension.
Yeah. I mean, when we're at the track, you've got to be able to make a spring change, and you need to make it pretty quickly because you're in between sessions, you're in between runs, or you got to change it over during lunch, something like that. That's one of the good things about working with JJ. I mean, he can make a full spring change in the rear of the car in 20 minutes, maybe even less if you're under the gun and you got somebody helping him that knows what they're doing. Another good thing that we use is spring rubbers, and let's talk about spring rubbers and how fast and quick and easy it is to use that.
Yeah, we'll use always springs that, like I said earlier, when the track changes, we have to make different changes to the car. If it's ride height, spring rate, shock adjustments. Well, sometimes we don't have time to make a spring change, so we'll use spring rubbers, and we have different durometer spring rubbers that we'll put in that go in between the coils of the springs, which actually deaden the coil so they stiffen up the spring rate, which are really good fast tuning tools that we can use really in a pinch is where they come in handy.
Yeah, right out of NASCAR, man. That's what they do. If the driver comes in during an 8-second pit stop, they can throw a spring rubber in the rear of the car to stiffen it up. And different durometer, you have different compression of those spring rubbers that you're sticking in there. So you're getting it down to a 25-pound difference, depending on the spring rubber. So a little fine tuning there that you can do really quickly. And that's why we like to use this stuff, because it helps really fine tune that car. And again, we're talking about tenths of a second. No, we're talking about hundredths of a second. And that's what that gets you. It could mean the difference between winning and losing out on the track.